Hey, what's up, friends? Welcome back to a new episode of Kevirsyle Network. I am your host, Kevin Davis. I am a comic creator, author, writer, entrepreneur, a go-giver, as I've been told, and I sometimes get yelled at for not sleeping, so it happens. But on this new episode, please welcome a new friend of mine who's also a writer and entrepreneur who probably loses sleep at times too, because I see him everywhere on my Facebook and Instagram. Please welcome Bob Nash to the show. What's up, man?
Hey man, thanks for having me, Kevin. I appreciate it.
Hey, thank you for coming on. How you doing, brother?
I am good. I am good. I am awake. I'm
Heck yeah,
awake.
heck
I am
yeah,
caffeinated, and I'm ready to go. So
heck
yeah,
yeah. Well, welcome to the Kelson Network. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
sure. Well, I'm a writer primarily. I write novels, comic books. I've also written I do full cast audio dramas, like the for like radio style shows, and I
Cool.
do the occasional short film. I've done a couple of those, but most primarily it's comics and novels and short stories and things like that. So yeah, that's
Wow.
yeah. So I bounce a lot. I'm all over the place. It's crazy.
Yeah, we became friends on Facebook not too long ago, like a
Mhm.
few months back, and I've seen you at so many conventions and so many like libraries.
I did
Um,
40. I did 40 in
40.
person events last year. Yes, I'm an idiot.
Man,
Um, I'm
how
a
do you
tired
balance
idiot.
that?
It's it's doable. And now I also all of them were with the exception of two, all of them were where I could drive to them and go home at night.
Ah,
So
okay.
they were even in a compact area. I take care of my father. My dad's caretaker, so he can't really I can't leave him alone overnights.
Ah,
So
understandable. Okay.
everything I've scheduled with there's a couple of exceptions we make. Like Dragon Con's a big one. I stay in Atlanta for the week, so I make
Mm.
arrangements. But for the most part, it's stuff I can go. And I have so everything I did last year, I think with the exception of two events, was within 4 hour drive of where I live.
That's not too
So
bad. Not too bad.
yeah,
Okay.
because anything over 4 hours there, one way, I've got to have a
Mm.
hotel. I can't do I can't drive for 8 hours, do 8 hours at a show, and I'm not as
Yeah,
young as I used to be. All the great, yeah, you can see all the hair. I'm not as young as I used to be. But yeah,
man.
but I do a lot of, I've diversified the type of events I do.
Mm,
Like you said, it's conventions, it's comic shows, it's
mm,
libraries. I've taught a couple of years ago. I did some books for an educational publisher, so
ooh,
I've been getting invites to come talk at schools,
ooh,
and stuff like that, to talk about creating comics and things like that to kids,
wow.
which has been really fun. Uh, and things like that. Get invited to speak at literary groups or book groups. So there's a lot of just different bookstores, comic shops,
Mm.
literary festivals, just whatever. I'm doing one this weekend on Sunday that's at
Mhm.
a brewery. So,
Oh, wow. How did
the
that come about? That's
well,
interesting.
there's a lot of that. I don't know how it is in other areas, but in our areas that we get
Mm,
you get these brew factories where they make their own beers and drinks, and several of them have events where they will have either book centric or it'll
mm,
be just creative
mm.
centric. It's like this one this weekend. Like there's going to be craft people there. I think I'm the only author there. There's a bookstore that's there also, but there's crafts people. A friend of mine who stitches and makes little uh, you know flags and
Gotcha. Yeah.
dolls and stuff. They're going to be there. Different other people that are going to be there that do crafty things, and so there's a lot of that kind of stuff that happens here. I'm in Georgia. That happens here, so I don't know if it happens other places. But so
Mm,
yeah, so I do a lot of breweries. I do a lot of bars. Bars and restaurants will have evenings where, like on a slow evening, they bring us in, put us in the side room, and we read our books, answer questions, and
mm.
yeah. So there's a lot of that kind of stuff
Yeah,
where
I've
it's
heard of stuff
out of
like
out of the ordinary places.
Yeah, I've heard of stuff like that. Where they call like a book night or
Yeah, like
something
books
like.
and brews, or
Yeah, but
uh,
it's like that's interesting.
I did one in a barbecue place, so it was like, yeah,
Oh, I know
some
you ate good.
barbecue. And, there's different ones, and so you're in these restaurants, and usually they do it on like a night when it's not busy, so you're off. And so they're
Right,
hoping you'll bring business in, and
right,
vice
right.
versa. But yeah, so I've done a lot of those kind of things, and what I found is it's helped me because I am putting my books in front of people who would never go to a convention,
Hmm,
or who would never go to a library event, but they're seeing me
right.
at these other places. And
That's
so,
smart marketing because you're diversifying your basically your portfolio. You're
absolutely,
go-
yeah, and you're
yeah.
getting out there, and it's even when you do events,
Mhm,
it's a marketing opportunity, it's a promotion opportunity. Like I make sure I take photos, I talk about the event, like what we're doing here today. I've been
mhm,
talking about this all week on my various
mhm.
social medias and websites. We're
Yep.
here now. I took a screenshot of our thing. I'll share it later. Hey, look what we did, and then we'll put it tomorrow. It'll go
Yeah.
on the website. So we'll talk. You talk about it before. You talk about it during. You talk about it after. And cons and events are the same way. You pre-promote it, take plenty of
Mhm,
photos while you're there, and then
mhm,
you talk about it after. It's like, man, if you weren't there, here's what you missed. And even though none of those are me going, hey, buy my
mhm.
books are there. You know, if it's me at an event, there's a picture of my table with all my books there. Doing this, there's posters on the walls. So I mean, you're all it. See, there's a lot of that of reaching people by doing these
Mhm.
events, and I'm, as you can tell, love to talk. So it's great getting out and meeting people, and because as as a writer, we're
Mhm.
alone most of the time in an office by ourselves working. So it is nice
Yeah.
to get out and
Yeah.
talk to real people and not just the ones that live in my head. So yeah,
I feel that so much.
yeah, and
Oh,
so
heck yeah. Heck
and
yeah.
then and you meeting other creative people.
Mhm.
That's a nice bonus. Getting to
Oh,
talk
yeah.
to other people that understand the things that we go through, the things that are in our head, that the things that we think of as, oh my God, this is an end of the world problem, that you tell somebody
Oh,
that's not creative, and they're going, I don't get it.
yeah. Yeah.
you know,
It's definitely hard
yeah.
sometimes.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah. Because
like,
people that don't do it, just they don't understand the ins and outs of what's
whew.
in our brain.
Yeah, because our brains are wired so much that it's kind of hard to explain
Yeah.
sometimes. And
Oh
so
yeah.
we may
Talk.
like we may be talking to you about one thing, but we have like a million other things our
Uh,
brain going at the same time. We're multitasking while talking to you, by the
oh
way.
yeah.
So we're
Yeah.
listening. We might not comprehend everything like the first moment. That's why we ask like, "What you say again?" Because we have like a million things going through our head.
Mhm.
Especially when you have multiple projects that you got deadlines for, and you have other ideas for another thing that you want to do, and then you have your schedule is like you schedule for this, and it's like you're bouncing back and forth between so many avenues and
Mhm.
everything. And for me, like at the beginning, when I get yelled at for not sleeping, that was no joke. I literally have a fan that's in the UK, checks up on me. She said, "Did you sleep?" Because she see me post every day, like, and I'm
Mhm.
posting like different projects and what I'm doing. It's like, dude, how do you have time for this? Do you ever sleep? I was like, I got better at it. I
Yeah.
got better at it
I
because
sleep. Yeah. I don't sleep all day, but yes, yeah, I
it's
get
like
that
that's
too. Because because you're posting, because it's a worldwide thing we're doing. So
yeah, it
yeah,
is.
sometimes like
Yeah.
when I get up in the middle of the night for something, hey, while
Mhm.
I'm up,
Yeah.
yeah, then I go back to bed.
Oh
Yeah,
my god.
it's
Yeah. Oh my lord. And like it's funny. I used to be up like 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning because I'm writing a story, like writing ideas that's in my head. I need to get out
Mhm,
of my head so I won't forget it. And it's like if you see my laptop, I have like so many tabs open. It's like
mhm,
this. Oh my god, I got this horror comic. I also got the science fiction comic. I have a romance novel that I'm working on. I have this novel I'm working on.
sorry, I'm
It's like
counting mine right now. I've got 9 tabs open. Um,
And I have
But yeah.
I have like this big universe I'm creating within my company universe. We call Kevirsyle. That's my company.
Hmm.
It's Kevirsyle. So it's like this is my Kevirsyle universe. It's horror, it's fantasy, it's drama, it's comedy. I'm like if you, I'm like you, s- I, am I'll share my website on the show, so
Hmm.
you can see what I'm doing. And on other shows I've been on, people's like, I do not want to be in his universe because I got clowns, I got demons, I got elves, I got
That's the
and
scary stuff. Yeah.
yeah, I was like, I'm a big horror fantasy fanatic fan, and I fell in love with it since I was a teenager. Um,
Now, do you? I know you said you're doing comics. Do you do the art as well, or are you just writing and have
oh no, I
working
do
with
not do
artists?
the art. I do the writing. I used to draw when I was a kid, but when I learned about comics and how you have to do certain anatomy and panels, I was like, oh, I'd rather
Hmm.
pay somebody to do that part because that's writing is a headache itself, and I'm not going to do the writing and
Yeah.
drawing.
I,
But
I draw. I draw, but I don't draw the comics that I work on. If that's what.
yeah,
um, I
yeah,
I do art for conventions and
Carrot,
things like
Jesus
that and
Christ.
sell them. Yeah.
And
But
speaking of
but
my fan that yells at me,
there you go. Make him take a
uh,
nap.
what's up, pops? And man, and what was I talking about? Oh yeah, I used to be like five
Yeah.
o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning because my brain never sleep. My brain
Mhm.
never stops, and I was like, I need to get this out of my brain so I can get some sleep. At least attempt
Yeah.
to.
So now, are you more of a morning writer
No,
or just a
no,
whenever?
whenever.
Yeah.
That's literally. Uh, I've actually gotten better because I try not to stay up too much now. I try to go like one. I'll be like in bed like 1 o'clock, 1:30 in the morning because I pay attention to my body now because my body be tired around that time anyway now.
Hmm.
And so I'm like, okay, fine, I'll go to sleep. And then I wake up, it'd be like 1 o'clock in the afternoon because I'm like, dang, Jesus Christ, that was that
Yeah.
freaking long. Was I that
My
tired? Jesus.
yeah. For
But
me,
there's times I get up like 6 o'clock because
yeah.
I need to pee. and,
That's only going to get worse the older you get. Just saying. Uh, yeah, I tend
oh
to,
god.
and my brain is so weird. It's like I'm sitting here and I'm so exhausted. It's like, okay, it's time to go to bed. And I'll go to bed and I'll lay down, and then it starts going, you know what's a great idea? So, but I've actually
uh,
learned I can, like if it's a note or something, I can write it on my phone,
mm,
but I also keep the tablet next to the bed, and I've just
I
rolled
gotta give
over
me a
and
tablet.
yeah.
That's what
And
reminded me. I need to give me a tablet.
this one was nice. It was like $80. It's not expensive. It's
Oh,
not
not bad.
fancy. It's
Not
not
bad.
fancy, but I can open it up. I can check emails and that kind of stuff. And
Yeah, I
I've
don't
got
need
I
nothing fancy. I ain't that type of
and
person.
yeah, I downloaded it's a notepad app where
Oh yeah.
I can just
Yep.
type and then email it to myself. And so when I get
Yep.
up in
I
the
love
morning,
that.
it's in my email. I copy paste it into my file and keep going.
Heck yeah. I love
But but
it.
but
Heck yeah.
we learn because the ideas often come when we're not at the
Yeah,
laptop.
yeah, it really
So
does.
I've learned how to. I don't enjoy writing on the phone because it's so small,
Oh God,
but I can do it.
that really irritates me. Oh my
Yeah.
God. But I use my phone all the time with notes, like because I have a note app on my phone because I don't have a
Hmm.
tablet with me yet right now. But dude, it'd be so irritating trying to write out outlines on my phone
Hmm.
because I'm like I have to type like this, and I was like, Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
I wrote a chapter once. My dad had a doctor's appointment. I took my dad to the doctor. I'm sitting out in the waiting room. He was in there about an hour. Something hit me and I said, "Oh, I need to write that down." And so I was just planning to write a couple of notes.
Mm,
But you know how it is. Sometimes when it starts flowing, it just
it
starts
just keeps
flowing.
going. It
And
just
I
keeps
wrote a
going.
whole chapter on my phone. Now it was
Hmm.
full of typos and all that stuff because you're fat
Hmm.
fingering buttons
Yeah,
and
yeah.
but I fixed all it. But I wrote a whole chapter on the phone. I wouldn't recommend doing that all the time, but
Agreed.
it but
Agreed.
it
Agreed.
is nice that we have that option. Because when I
Hmm.
started writing, we didn't have cell phones. Yes, I'm old. We didn't have cell phones when I started writing. We certainly didn't have tablets. And so I remember I had a day job, and I would leave my day job and go home at night. And in my pockets would be like a wad of papers with notes I scribbled all day long and shoved in my pocket that I would then have to figure out what they meant and what they were for.
Yeah.
But
Oh
yeah,
my
so
god.
it was crazy. So
You sleep, you want to shock people like that, make sure your audience is set down. Oh my god. Jesus Christ, Gary. Also, I have to be a Kevin Davis comic fan because I'm female and we're socially programmed to be. Oh my god. Oh my god. Gary, really? Oh my lord. Oh my god. That's Carrie for you.
hmm
She's one of the best people you'll ever meet.
hi
Oh my
Carrie.
god. Oh my lord. And I actually have your website. Let me share it if you don't mind.
No, no,
So
no, 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 no. Yes. BobbyNash.com is the hub of everything.
yes,
Um,
let me bring it up right. Here we are.
that's it.
Welcome
Yeah.
to
Just
BobbyNash.com, guys.
posted that yesterday. My comp copies of the Kolchak the Night Stalker book I worked on came in.
Oh,
So
tell us a little bit about Kochek in the house. It looks amazing, by the way.
yeah, Kolchak was nice. I don't know if you're familiar with the TV show Kolchak the Night Stalker. Well, it was a movie that became a
I
TV
can't
show.
say that I am, but I've seen a lot of stuff,
It,
so it's possible.
yeah, it was a movie that was quite
uh,
popular, very tongue in cheek. And this was also that show was the guy that created the X Files because of his
I
love
love the
of
X
Kolchak.
Files. I love.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
Kolchak the Night Stalker is the inspiration for the X Files. The creator has
Interesting.
said that he loved that show, and so Carl Kolchak he is a reporter, and this takes place in the 70s. The show did,
Ooh,
and
period
he was
piece.
a
Nice.
reporter, and well, I mean, it was filmed in that era too. But
Good
but he
point.
ran around with like
Good.
he had like the little camera and but he would run into all these supernatural things that nobody
Ooh.
would believe him. And so, of
Mm-hmm.
course, there's no evidence, but he's always running. Like the movie, he dealt with a vampire.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, a couple of years ago was the 50th anniversary of the show, and I wrote a story for. I don't know if you can see it back there, but there's the hardcover they did, the 50th anniversary hardcover, and I wrote a short story for it. And there were a few other people that wrote short stories that were only in the hardcover. And so this book that you're showing here on the screen now
Mm-hmm.
will be out at the end of this month. And
This one here.
it collects the short stories from the hardcover along with some new short stories that take place
Ooh.
during Kolchak's timeline. He retired in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
He was active previous to the TV show because he was in novels first. There were novels and all that stuff, and so I wrote a story that has Carl Kolchak working as a war correspondent in Vietnam, and so I wrote a story with him in Vietnam where he runs into some supernatural stuff that happens in Vietnam. So I did a lot of research of like Vietnamese folklore and things like that.
Ooh.
So it was fun. It was a
Wow.
fun story. I enjoyed it. Yeah. And that's a cool. It's a Kolchak's one of those characters that has a nice fan base too. There's a lot of people that love Kolchak, and so I've been lucky.
Absolutely.
I've got to write him twice. We did
So
this one,
this
which yeah,
so
I
this is
did
an
this one
anthology
with
of short stories.
yeah. And so like my story
Mm.
here, this is set during the era of the TV show. The other one I
Oh
worked
wow.
on, it was like a modern day version of Kolchak. So he had cell
Mm.
phones and things like that. He didn't necessarily understand how to use them, but he had them.
Ah, gotcha. Okay. And you have a shop too. Wow.
Yeah, well, that's one of my cover artists. That's his shop.
Oh, okay.
He does book covers, and he has some T-shirts and stuff. Some of them with my designs on it. But Jeffrey Hayes is the cover artist. He does
Dude,
my
Jeffrey
snow
Hayes is
books.
amazing.
Yeah, he does my snow books, and he does the covers for my Sheriff Myers books and
And
for
we can
the
subscribe
Dante
to your
books.
Patreon.
Yep, I have a Patreon. I do. Actually, next week, the new Sheriff Myers book starts its serialized run. I do a chapter a week
Mm.
as I'm writing it.
Mm,
So it's kind of you get to see it raw,
mm.
it's the first pass. And then, once it's done and gone through edits, I give them the whole book. So if they want to compare and contrast what changed, during the writing of it and things like that. So
Wow. What is the International Association of Media Tie-in Writers?
it is a group that people who have written tie-in things like
Mm,
Kolchak,
Gotcha.
or I've written the Green Hornet. There's Star Trek writers, Star Wars writers. It's people that have written stuff that's based on movie and
Mm,
TV properties. It's
mm.
a group where we can get in and we can chat and uh, you know talk about different projects and upcoming and things like that. So it's a nice networking group. We kind of get together and can kind of cheerlead other people on who do media tie-in stuff. It's fun. It's a nice group, and yeah, I'm a big fan of that. It's really cool being able to write stuff that you grew up watching. Like I did watch Kolchak as a kid, or
Dude,
uh,
heck yeah.
I watched the Lone Ranger reruns when I was a kid, and I got to like
Oh
write.
my God. I
I
love the
got to
Lone
write the
Ranger.
Lone Ranger, yeah, or stuff like that. Remo Williams, I'm a huge Remo Williams fan. Last year, I got to write a
Uh,
Remo Williams short story, so stuff like that's really fun. And it's cool to play with those characters that you grew up with.
Man, that's freaking
I
fantastic.
Yeah, so I do as much of those as I can. I would love to do more. Um, you know, I like to think I've got at least one good Star Trek story in me.
So you're a
But
big Star Trek fan?
I am, yes. Well, I do write. They're not official or anything, but
Mm.
I've met some of these guys doing the conventions that do the fan films where they've built sets,
Ooh,
and I've gotten to know some of them. So on those rare occasions when I have a free hole in my schedule, if I can
yeah,
come up with an
yeah.
idea, I will write them a little short 10-minute Star Trek episode that they'll
Mm.
film. And so those have been fun. So I've written about 6 or 7 of those, and they're all on my website too. There's a film tab, and you can find them, and it'll take you to YouTube where they're all free. Um,
Dude, that's
because you're
freaking
doing that
amazing.
for fun. You're doing that for fun. There's no
Yeah,
money to be made because we don't own it. We don't have the rights to it. It's just something
right.
people are doing for fun.
It's like a fun hobby.
Yeah, and these folks are really talented. They've gone and built sets. They've built like sets of starship bridges, and they're making uniforms, and most of them
Yeah,
are doing like original characters and ships just in that universe. But a few people will do like, oh, we're going to play Kirk and Spock, et cetera, et cetera.
yeah,
Um, so I've met several of them over the years doing conventions, and it's great practice for me working on writing a script. I
yeah.
I, I am a Star Trek fan, so it's fun. I get to see it. I get to see it filmed, so it's filmed. It's out there, so it's cool. I can point and say, "Hey, I wrote something that got filmed." So being
Wow.
able to do that, that's just it's fun. I have a blast doing that, and sometimes we'll do
Heck
things
yeah.
at conventions. We will show them like at conventions and take questions and things like that. Sorry, I was sorry. I was reading.
I know that
Uh,
was for you. She
yeah,
said she was
yeah,
talking to you.
very nice.
Um,
Yeah,
cool. Okay.
but yeah. So those are fun. Those are things I do that are fun, and then
Mm.
But yeah, I think I've got at least one Star Trek novel in me. I would love to try my hand at that, and there's a lot of characters. There's a lot of characters I've loved over the years.
There's a
That
lot of lore in Star Trek. I haven't
yeah,
seen every single Star Trek movie because there's so many.
yeah.
um,
There's
I
a
haven't
lot.
I haven't watched. Well, I started watching the Star Trek Discovery show.
Hmm.
I haven't got back to it because obviously I'm kind of busy at the moment. But I actually like it so far, and I know they have so many
Yeah,
other Star Trek shows that I can't
I've
keep up
seen.
with.
I think I've seen most of them. There's a couple that just didn't do much for me, but yeah, I've seen most
Ah,
of them.
that's
And
fair. That's fair. And I
but
know
well,
they bringing up Starfleet Academy. I think it's called now.
yeah,
That's the new one
but
that's coming
yeah,
out.
that's the new one, Starfleet Academy. Yeah, and I grew up when I was a kid. When I would come home from school, Star Trek was on right after I got home
Oh,
from
nice.
school. So while I'm having my snacks and all, I would watch Star Trek.
Heck
And then
yeah.
my mom would kick me out of the house and say, "Go play." And so I would play, hey, I'm an officer on the ship. And they sit me down. My backyard became the planet of the week. And that was kind of, and I was an only
And that's how
child
you
until I
that's
was
how you
9.
build an imagination right there.
Yeah. And I was an only child until I was 9. My brother didn't come along until I was 9. So,
Mm.
yeah, it's me and my imagination in a backyard. Um, and so, yeah, that's kind of where, and I think too, that's where a lot of the creativity that eventually led to me wanting to write and create stories came from.
Mm.
I was playing with, because I wasn't just going down and playing the episode I watched on TV.
Mm.
I
You was
was
like
using that
you
as
was
a
creating your own
basis.
episode. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm creating my own story, my own planet. I mean, they were all, I mean, as a kid, they were all very highly derivative of what I watched, but
Ah,
you were still, you know,
having imagination. Heck yeah.
you're out there, you're enjoying, you're having fun, and but you're learning how to build stories, even though you don't
Heck
realize
yeah.
it at the time. So yeah, so I learned a lot from that. But but I've watched, like I said, almost all of them up through all the various series certainly. And yeah, they're fun. I love the universe. I think it's a great universe. There's a lot, as you said, there's a lot of places to go.
Yeah, it's a lot of lore
Yeah,
and
there's a lot of
storytelling.
places. Yeah, there's a lot of
It's
stuff
like
you can play with.
cheat and like I've seen like the updated with the Chris Pine Star Trek. I
Hmm.
saw that trilogy. I think that's actually when I became a fan of Star Trek, and when I saw the
Okay, very nice.
Chris Pine
Yeah.
version.
Well, like I said, I was in the
Um,
'70s when I was a kid.
yeah.
We just had the one Star Trek.
Hmm.
Then they came out with a cartoon. There was a cartoon based on the
Oh wow.
original Star Trek series.
Oh wow.
And so I remember watching, that was a Saturday morning thing. So that was cool. And
Ah,
then I was in, I was in middle school or high school. I think it's in middle school when Next Generation started.
mm,
And then, but by the time, and I love Next Generation, but by the time Deep Space Nine, I was in high school.
gotcha.
And
Gotcha.
no, was I? No, I was actually out of school, I think, by the time Deep Space Nine started. And so
Oh okay.
Deep Space Nine is my favorite overall, like
Gotcha.
start to
Okay.
finish. It is like really great just from start to finish. And I think too, it also hit at that time. I was out of high school. I was becoming an adult.
Mm,
Started looking at the world a different way because I
yeah.
have bills to pay. I'm
Yep.
moving into my own place. The world became different, and
Mm,
Deep Space Nine was a little darker than
mm,
TNG. It was a lot more war footing and things. There was a lot more of that. It felt a lot more real. Whereas,
mm.
when you're flying around the Enterprise, everything's so nice and clean and shiny, and you want
Yeah.
something, you just ask for it.
Uh-huh.
And Deep
Oh
Space
yeah.
Nine wasn't that. And so I think I gravitated toward that because that was what my life was like. I wanted
Right.
something.
Yeah.
I couldn't necessarily have it just because I wanted it. But
Yep.
but yeah, but it's a fan. If you've not seen Deep Space Nine, I highly recommend it. It is excellent.
Okay. I'm gonna
It
definitely check
is
it out then.
excellent. And unlike,
I mean, I've been recommended so many things. I have to make a list of what to check out now. I was like,
hurry
God
hurry
dang,
up
okay.
and hurry up and hit that bestseller list so you can take a few weeks off. And but yeah, it's no, but that's my favorite of the bunch. And it's also the first one that tells a long story. Like
Interesting.
most of the Star Trek and Next Generation and Voyager, they told single episode stories, and Deep Space
Yeah.
Nine would tell stories that sometimes would go for the whole season's one big story, or and
Mm.
certainly once the war starts, which that may be a spoiler. Sorry,
Yeah,
Deep
that's
Space Nine,
fine. I don't
season,
mind spoilers. I'm
seasons
gonna
four
still watch
through
it.
7 is a war, so it's
Hmm.
like it's 5 seasons of a war.
Oh, that
Yeah,
sounds right up my alley. I love
and
those stories.
well, it's also really cool too. Sorry, this became a Star Trek podcast. So sorry about that.
It's an
Um,
entertainment
but
podcast,
it
so it works.
it becomes the same because everything we had seen up to Star Trek before Deep Space Nine,
Hmm.
they talked about wars that the Federation had been in, but they were all wars that were over. They would always mention, "Oh, this war happened, but it's over, and we're dealing with." Deep Space Nine shows us what the Federation is like when they go to war,
Mm-hmm.
and there are some great episodes where things are not. like I said, Next Generation, everything's shiny and happy, and when you're on Duke and you're in the middle of these war, episodes, it's dark and gritty, and sometimes our characters are doing things that if they weren't in a war they would never do, and so there's a lot of that moral and personality. You know, we're following those threads of what happens to good people when they go to war. Do they stay good people? Do we sometimes put our things I would never do in a million years, but I have to put that aside? Yeah, there's some really great episodes that deal with the moral ambiguity of I'm doing this because of the war. Like,
Interesting.
I'm committing what would be acts of treason any other time,
Uh-huh.
but because it's a war,
Mm.
they're giving me permission to do that kind of stuff. There's a lot of great, and the
Oh yeah,
cast is
I
great. I
definitely
mean,
gotta check this out. Then I definitely
yeah,
gotta check this out.
the cast is great. Avery Brooks, who is the lead, the captain, is fantastic. He's got that really great gravitas voice, and just you'll love it. It's fantastic. Yeah, sorry.
Oh man,
So,
this is beautiful.
welcome to Star Trek podcast. Yes,
Right, it's an entertainment podcast. We talk anything entertainment,
yes.
comics.
You can tell I love it. Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
I get on the Star Trek kick, and I did
That's
a
why I
I
made this podcast so we can all nerd
yeah
out about
I
whatever and just have
I
fun.
I was invited to do an essay,
Oh God.
nonfiction essay for a couple. It was a year ago, I guess, or maybe two.
Oh, not too
Becky
long ago.
Becky Becky Books did a book that was about. It was called "Galloping Around the Cosmos," and they got together
Interesting.
a bunch of writers and artists and creative people to write essays about the impact that Star Trek had
Mm-hmm.
on our lives. Part
Okay.
of what I talked about, the playing outside, is in my essay. We talked about,
Okay.
but it's a real world about how that fandom shaped or helped shape our lives.
Got
And
you. Okay.
and I
Okay.
learned a lot about the creativity and storytelling, and
Mm.
also those were morally impressive characters. So you
Mhm.
learned things from them. So yeah, so that was really cool. Being able to, I've done that for a few books. There was that one. I did one about we were looking at Jack Kirby books, comics, and then there
Mm.
was one where we did the same thing with the Star Trek, how it impacted our lives, about GI Joe and GI Joe figures.
Oh my God, I love
Yes,
G.I. Joe. I
we
am
had
such a
yeah
G.I. Joe fan. Heck yeah. Heck
we
yeah.
did a panel. There's a couple of toy conventions here in the Atlanta area, and I was down at one, and we were invited to do a panel, and so I was on this panel where we talked about how we played with our toys as a kid. What we did, how we, you know, and so we were talking, and so two of the guys that were on the panel with me were talking about, like, yeah, if I played GI Joe, I played with GI Joe. If I played with my
Mhm.
Star Wars toys, never the two mixed and matched. And I'm like, hey, I was a poor kid. I had three GI Joes, two Star Wars, we mixed and matched everything.
Yeah, with me as a
And
kid, I had my Star Wars, I had my Spider Man, I had my Power Rangers, I had my shoot, I had my Dungeons and Dragons.
mhm,
I had such a mixed match of everything. I even had Toy Story from Pixar and Disney. I was
yeah,
like,
and
I'm even I had Scooby Doo. Like,
mhm,
as you
yeah,
see,
mixed.
I'm a Scooby Doo fan. Yeah, I had a mix of a lot of things. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So so I talked about on this panel, I had my two favorite characters. I had a Boba Fett and I had a
Ooh,
Destro, and those were my two favorite characters. And so
interesting.
I started creating this.
Boba Fett is Star Wars, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I had this started creating this lore inside my head that, because Boba Fett worked for the Empire, or he
Okay.
was a bounty hunter working for the Empire.
I knew he
Destro
was a
was a
bounty hunter. Yeah. I don't know
right,
other characters in Star Wars yet either. Yeah,
and
I'm
Destro,
still getting
yeah,
myself around those. So
yeah,
yeah.
and Destro was a weapons manufacturer who worked for Cobra.
So,
They
yep.
weren't
I know
actually part of the organizations, but they worked
it
for
worked
them.
for them. Yep.
And so in my head, because I love those two characters, in my head, I created this whole thing where both of them had finally had enough of their boss's crap.
Yep.
And so Boba Fett and Destro team up. They steal a shuttle because I had a shuttle toy. They steal a shuttle and they take off for parts unknown to have adventures as bounty hunters. And
Dude,
so I was writing these stories in my head. And
that sounds
so
like an
again,
awesome buddy cop
yeah,
movie.
yeah. So I told this story on the panel, and it got back to the people, the publisher of the book,
Mm.
and they were like, "Yeah, we want you to tell that story in here." So I wrote basically what I said on the panel for the book. So yeah,
Dude,
so
talk about
that's fun.
marketing. Oh my
Yes.
God. That is
So
amazing.
yeah, so it's fun. It's fun, and a lot of those things, those
Yeah.
things inspire us. Those things help us to kind of focus, or at least for me, I learned how to. I was learning and teaching myself how to tell stories without realizing it, and later the things I learned doing that help me when I'm writing stories. I still have that childlike mentality of, oh my god, I'm playing with I mean, I don't actually have
Oh
figures
man.
that I'm doing. I mean, I have figures all over the place, but I don't actually
Right.
play with them.
Right.
But yeah, it's but yeah, so I can do stuff like
No.
that. So yeah,
No.
it's
When I was a kid, my mother always tried to get me and my sister to go outside because we're so very introverted. We did not want to go outside either.
no.
My mom was like, "Why don't y'all be normal kids to go outside?" And he was like, "What's normal?"
Mom didn't give me a choice. It was get the hell out of the house.
But even my mother even said, she said, "Get the hell out of the house, go have some fun outside." It's like, what to
Mhm.
do? It was, and me and my sister like, we're good inside. We don't need to go outside. To have fun. We have fun inside with you.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Now, mom didn't care outside.
oh my God.
But yeah, I mean, I
I
did
think like the only times we're outside is when it snowed here,
yeah.
and
Well, well,
we built like snowmen, and my sister threw the entire snowman on top of my back, and we had a snow
mm,
fight, and that lasted like 5 minutes. I was like, happy we went outside, and we were outside.
yeah. Well, when I was a kid too, Nick, and I'm much older than you. So when I was a kid too, like
Mhm,
when I was a kid, like this is pre-video games. They didn't
mhm,
exist yet. Like
mhm.
I was a kid. I remember when we got the Atari for the first time, and it was like Pong, the little boop, boop, boop. Oh my God, you would think it was the coolest thing ever. But
Mhm.
before that, there was nothing to do. You would either read or watch TV, and
Right.
mom would be like, and so I did the normal kid things. I rode bikes, and mom didn't really let me out in the road, so I did it all in the backyard. I
Right.
rode bikes, and we had a swing set in the jungle gym, so I did all that stuff and ran around. My mom used to tell the story because I fell in love with Spider-Man from the cartoons. They reran the '60s cartoons when I was a kid, and I would see, Spider-Man's going, as he's swinging through, and sometimes I would just go play Spider-Man, and mom found it amusing, and she's like, I don't know what's wrong with that kid. He sits around the backyard going, psh, 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 psh. So
Oh my gosh.
so
Yeah, I
yes,
felt
I was doomed from an early age to this.
yeah, I was like, I became a big Spider-Man fan because of Tobey Maguire.
Okay,
That's I was
I
introduced to
I
Spider.
I thought that movie was wonderful.
Yeah.
They captured. I remember I went to see it with some friends from work,
Mhm.
and who were not comic fans. They knew Spider-Man from cartoons, just like the
The funny
X-Men. I
thing is,
remember we,
I wasn't a comic fan until
yeah,
2020.
I remember the
I
same
didn't I
guys.
didn't know Spider-Man or anything Marvel was actually comics
Yeah,
or
I
even
remember.
DC or comics existed.
Yeah, I went to this to see X-Men with my friends, the same friends.
Oh yes,
And
love
so
X-Men.
my buddy was like, "Oh my god, I'm such a huge X-Men fan." I was like, "Oh, cool. How long have you been reading the comic?" And he goes, "They make X-Men comics?" So it was the
Yeah,
cartoon. He knew the cartoon.
that's the
And
I was like,
but
there's
I remember,
comics.
yeah, so I
Yeah.
remember watching those movies, and we left Spider-Man, and my buddy was like, "Well, that makes no sense. Why did he not get the girl at the end? He walks away from her. Why?" And
Mhm.
I was like, "Well, if you read the comics, you would know Peter never gets
Oh
it
man.
was the most accurate Peter Parker, and I
Yeah.
explained to them why Peter's like that, and they're like, "Oh." But I knew that the comic book movies had hit the mainstream when I got a call one day from my mother, And I was talking to her on the phone, and she goes, "Okay, explain this Thor guy to me." And I knew at that point, you know, yes, when my mom knows who Thor is, yes,
Mhm.
they have pretty much hit the mainstream, and yeah,
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, because I didn't. I fell in love with Marvel and DC from their TV shows and movies and everything. Because heck, I didn't know Blade was a comic either.
oh yeah.
And
Now
because I watched.
the movies were very different from the comic.
Oh, I
The
know that
com
now.
Yeah, yeah.
I know that now.
The comics changed to match the movies.
Mm.
But yeah, well it was growing up when I did, we had like if you've never seen it, there is a 70s Spider-Man show.
Oh, I've seen it now.
Okay.
I've seen it now.
That's what we had.
Mm.
So they were very limited in what they could do. Because we had Superman shows, we had Batman,
Mm.
we had Wonder Woman as when I was a kid,
Mm.
but they were limited in what they could do. There weren't a lot of superhero battles. Like
Gotcha.
Superman fought gangsters all the time, you know.
Gotcha.
Um,
Okay.
but as a kid, I would read the comics and I would go, man, wouldn't it be great if they could do this in the movies? So fast forwarding to now that we're getting these things,
Hmm.
young Bobby who lives in the back of my brain is like geeking out over, oh my God, I never thought I would see, certainly characters who were not big characters.
Right.
Um, Iron Man, for as popular as Iron Man is now, it was the movies that did that. Before the movie was a hit, Iron Man was kind of a C-list character. He was not as super huge as he became. Or so seeing some of these characters that you never thought Ant-Man was going to get a
Mhm.
movie. You never, that kind of thing.
Dude,
You
I didn't
never,
know who the heck Ant Man was
yeah,
either when they announced the movie. I saw the trailer. And I
yeah,
was like, who the hell is this guy randomly kept popping up?
yeah. Or
I was
or
like, what the
like
heck?
yeah, like when Angar the Screamer showed up on Agents of Shield, I was like, oh
Yeah.
my God, I'm geeking out, and people like me are like, I don't get it. And I'm like, it's good, trust me. you know, or just
Oh my
seeing
god.
J. Jonah
Speaking of,
Jameson on screen for the
yes.
first time,
I'm like,
or
speaking of Agents of Shield, my favorite season was season 4 when they brought in Ghost Rider.
Ghost. Yeah,
Like
yeah,
that
thanks.
was my
And
favorite
so
season. Bringing up
these
Ghost
were
Rider.
things that I never expected we would see Ghost Rider.
Mhm.
I never thought we would get any of those kind of Hawkeye. Big Hawkeye
Mhm.
fan from the comics. Never in a million years thought Hawkeye, Wanda, or the Scarlet Witch, or the Vision would have
Mhm.
ever made it to TV. That's
Wow.
just So the fact that we're getting all these things,
Mhm.
and most of them are really good, is just the old comic fan in me just is geeking out over that, and I
Yeah.
love that. Yeah, and so I'm excited for it. Yeah, yeah, it's fun. It's because like I said, I lived through the era where we didn't, we had superhero shows, but
Mhm.
they were kind of toned down because of just the limitations of what they could do. But
Are you a Fantastic Four fan? Because I've seen like
love,
I've seen the very original and then I've seen the updated version. What is your
gotcha.
thoughts about the Fantastic Four?
I am a huge fan. I love that. The first comics I ever got was Spider Man.
Mm.
I bought a 3-pack as a kid. I remember begging my mother, and I got those. The second time I got a comic, it was a Fantastic Four comic,
I
and
just shared your website in the comment
oh,
section.
thank you, and the Fantastic. It had a beautiful cover where there was a scroll there, and the Fantastic Four were laying dead at his feet with like
Mhm.
smoke coming out of the bullet holes in them. And I was like, well,
Jesus
how can I
Christ.
not? How can I not read this book? And so I read that, and so I was hooked. And so I read the
Mhm.
comic for years, and it is not easy to be a Fantastic Four fan. The movies have very rarely been good.
Oh,
The comic run, like
I
there's a
hate.
lot
I
of
mean, I hated the 2015 one. I
yeah,
hated
there's
that
a
so
lot
much.
of comic runs that
Mhm.
sometimes you get a comic, oh, it's okay. The Fantastic Four comics are either great or
Mhm.
awful. There doesn't seem to be a middle ground.
Well, damn.
Um,
Okay.
but But they've made what? There have been 5 Fantastic Four movies at this point. The Roger
I lost
Corman one
count.
is
I'm saying I
the
lost
Roger
count.
yeah the Roger Corman one is fun, but it's very cheap. Um, Certainly, it doesn't hold up to today's effects budget, but it was
Gotcha.
fun. Um,
Gotcha.
I liked the first one they did with Chris Pine or Chris Evans and Jessica. I liked the first one. I didn't care for the second one. And oh yeah,
Interesting.
the one after that, that Fan
We don't talk
Forecast,
about that one. We don't
that
talk about
was
that
that was just
one.
horrible.
God,
Um,
that was such a waste of talent. They had such a talented cast, but that
yes,
script was horrible.
yes. I think the best part of that, I think, was Michael B. Jordan as Johnny. I think he was the standout in that. But
Well, yeah, I can agree with that one.
but yeah, it was
But
awful.
it
The
was
story
so
was horrible.
dull. Oh my
But
god.
now I love the new one. I thought the new one was a lot of fun. The new one felt like the characters I knew from
Fantastic
the
Four.
comics.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I in a million years never would have thought Galactus would be in a movie. You know. Or Herbie, I love
uh,
me some Herbie the robot. So who
um,
knew?
I'm
Who knew that?
excited, and I'm actually really excited to see them interact with the MCU timeline
Me,
characters,
me too. I'm
and
curious to see where
especially
it
bringing
goes.
in Doctor Doom, and it's
Hmm.
going to be very interesting.
Yeah,
To see.
I'm very curious to see how it's going to go.
If
Um,
that's true, I would be very interested to see a horror version of Star Wars.
yeah,
That
it's
would be
supposed to be.
very
I think
interesting.
it's, if I remember hearing correctly, they did a horror novel a few years ago where it was like
Oh,
the zombie stormtroopers or something was reanimating dead stormtroopers or something like that.
really?
And I think that was the basis, but I don't know much more beyond. But yeah, I think there's
I would
room
love
for
to see a horror
I
version
think
of
there's
Star Wars.
I think there's room for horror in the Star Wars universe. I think there's room for a lot of stuff. I mean, because the Star Wars universe has done stuff that's just for kids.
Yeah. You can do like a
Um,
what if Star Wars movie if
yeah.
you wanted to.
So you never know. I mean, there's multiple planets. It's like Star Trek. There are so many planets. It's an infinite number of planets.
Exactly. So it's very easy. Well, I wouldn't say easy, but it's
Yes.
very it's there. You just
Yeah.
have to be very strategic how you do it.
Yeah, because Star Trek was good about that too. I mean,
Mhm.
there are episodes of Star Trek that are very intense. There are
Mhm.
some that are very action adventure. There are some that are funny. The trouble with Tribbles is hilarious, you know. But then you go
Yeah.
do City on the Edge of Forever, which is uber serious, or you go to
Interesting.
So there's a lot of there is an opportunity to play with different styles within the
Mhm.
same
I agree.
universe,
I
as
agree.
long as your characters are the same. I mean, you
Yeah.
know, you don't make Luke Skywalker silly just because you want a funny episode. You still drop that character as he is in a funny situation, and that's
Mhm.
where you get your humor. And Star Trek did that, like with Trouble with Tribbles. Kirk and Spock were still the same people. They were just now in this situation that was just so out there.
I like
And so,
horror, but I would prefer. Yeah. Yeah. I
yeah,
agree.
so it's
I
as a
agree.
writer, I mean, and I know you know this, as a writer, it's fun to play with that. You
It
know,
really is.
how do I
Yeah.
make what kind of horror am I going to write? Is it character based horror?
Mhm.
Is it because when you're writing in a book, like a novel,
Mhm.
you don't get jump scares. So you have to figure out ways to do that. You can do a jump scare in a comic if put it on an even numbered page. So you turn the page and there's your
Yeah.
scare.
Yeah.
But so you got that, but that's the writer and the artist working together to make that happen. But in a novel or a short story,
Horror is my
you don't
jam.
have that.
Mine
You
too.
can't yeah, you can't jump scare somebody. You have to find some way to make the horror work
Mhm.
just with your words. It's doable, but yeah,
It's like I
but
don't.
it's a different way.
Yeah, when I'm writing, I don't really think about jump scares. I just think about the story I'm trying to tell.
Hmm.
Like with my main series, Arcfire, you can see behind me. All right, this one right here. This is
Hmm.
Arcfire. This is my very first comic and my actually main series I'm doing is Arcfire. It is science fiction, like a science fiction. I would say technically a superhero, but it's not the typical superhero.
Right.
But it's because I'm going more like science fiction, horror, thriller route with it.
And
and I
those
just
mix well together. You can mix horror with almost any
pretty much, yeah.
genre. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm officially sending issue 2 out into printing soon, so I can fulfill that Kickstarter.
Very nice.
And so I have like 20 issues in my head for the main series of Arcfire.
Hmm.
So like as I write the series, I try to make it more grounded. Like, I'm not big on like jump scares. I just want to tell a story that you can feel like the emotion of the characters, and like you feel for the characters, and you hate. Like I want you to hate some characters. I also want you to love some characters. I also want you to understand some characters while they're doing
Yeah.
some stupid shit. And I'm just like,
But you
it's
never know.
interesting.
You never know where the story is going to go, though. So sometimes, like I
Right,
use those,
yeah,
and it doesn't have to be for like jump scares. I'm just use that as an
yeah,
example. But
yeah,
page turn reveals, like if you've had a character in shadow, you
yeah,
know,
yeah,
and you want to reveal who it is, you don't want that on an odd numbered page because while you're over here reading page 4, you can see page 5. And
yeah,
so you
exactly.
don't want the reveal to be on page 5 why because it's our if you're reading page 4, you already know what's there because you can see it. But if you
Oh
want
yeah,
your character to be, oh, he's wearing a mask, and at the end of page 5 he starts to do this, when you turn to
love you,
page,
Karen.
there it is.
Oh yeah,
So yeah, so you we it's each medium has its own way of doing things.
oh yeah,
In film, they can use music and the startling jumps or whatever to scare you.
oh yeah, most
In a
definitely.
comic, your art, you use the page turns to
Yep.
do those things that you don't want them to see coming. You in
Mhm.
a novel, you don't have to worry about what's on what page because they're just reading it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But it's a different trick. We can use tricks like if you're writing a scene that needs to be faster, like
Mhm.
someone's running for their life, it's fast. You want the heart's beating, you want it to run fast and make the reader feel, oh my God, this is,
Yeah.
you write these really short, choppy sentences because they will
Mhm.
read it faster, which has then now made the reader they're reading it faster, they're feeling it faster. You
Mhm.
need to slow it down. So there are ways that we as writers can do all those things
Exactly.
in
Yeah.
whatever medium we're telling the story.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
But that's stuff you learn as you're go. I learned all that stuff just by doing it and going or
Yeah.
seeing how
Same.
someone else does it. And go, ooh, I like that. I'm going to steal that idea. Um, you
That's
know,
literally how I am when I'm watching like TV shows and movies. Like
yeah.
I have a fan brain. I also have a writer's brain.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like I watch it like the fan brain. I'm like I'm having fun. I'm like I'm not gonna like critique it or anything, right? But I watch it again at a writer brain. I'm saying okay, if they could have did better with this character if they went this
Mm-hmm.
route. So I like this concept, but the execution could have been better if they did it this way. That's just
Yeah.
that's how I feel.
Or
And so I was like,
how would I have written this plot?
that's literally how yeah, that's literally how
Yeah.
I questioned it. I was like, okay, I would have went it this way if because I think it would be more of an impact to the audience than they did here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm actually I'll show you my website since I mentioned earlier.
Yes, please.
This is my website right here. This is my company, Kevirsyle. It's my publishing company.
Now, does Kevirside stand for anything other than I know your name's obviously Kevin, but does it stand for anything or is it?
Yeah, this is my side of my story.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, and I call it Kevirsyle Global because I want to reach a global audience to share my storytelling.
Nice.
Yeah, and so this is what it's about. And I plan to get into filmmaking and potential TVs too, because I actually write my first screenplays that I want to do someday. And
Very
so
nice.
I'm expanding my writing, challenging myself more and more, and because I don't want to be like a what people call like a one footnote or something.
Yeah. Now,
That's
you're publishing yourself through your
yes,
company or okay?
yes.
Absolutely
I
cool.
publish all my stuff myself, and I also
Mhm.
publish my friends as well. This is actually some stuff that's published so far. This is iFire issue 1. You can get on Amazon, Barnes Noble, and also eBay. There's other retailers I
Nice.
just haven't added up here yet because
Hmm.
there's a lot.
Yes,
This is
this is all the part that people don't know about the writing business. Yeah, I wish
yeah,
you doing writing related stuff.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
you're doing
yeah.
admin,
Oh
you're
my god.
updating websites, you're setting up
Whew,
podcasts,
jeez.
doing
Yeah,
interviews. Yeah, There
This
are
is
days where I've worked all day long and
oh
realized
yeah,
after 8 or 10 hours, it's like I've not written anything today.
literally me. Oh my god, this is my magazine I just rebranded. It's called Kevirsyle Fate. So it's a lifestyle mental health horror magazine. It's
Nice.
lifestyle because I say it's lifestyle because there's articles of like business advice. Like I put my poetry in there, and I actually have another poet that's also published that I'm allowed to publish her poetry in my magazine as well.
Nice.
There's mental health articles that I bring awareness about mental health. So I like mental health poetry that I write to kind of tell my story, how I dealt with mental health, how I deal with it, like especially anxiety, depression, and everything.
Hmm.
And then I try to bounce it out with some comics in there too. I was like, and then some creator interviews that's also in my magazine. So like try to market and showcase other people to show
Hmm.
this is also some other creators that also have work out there that you can shoot that you should check out. This is their website, this is their socials. Go check them out. And my friend here, Evan, he's a new author. His I just published his book, Untold Stories of Officer Bob. You can get on Barnes and Noble, Target, Amazon. Um, and that's my friend Evan. He was working on this book for a while. His dad started the book, but his dad passed away a couple years ago, and so Evan was. He took a long. It took a while for him to do this book because he didn't know if he wanted to do it or not.
Hmm.
And it's like, and he told me, and Evan told me that he was able to finish the book because of meeting me. And he tells me every single day how I inspired him to finish the book, and because he watches my stories and what I share. And I'm just like, dude, I'm just a messenger. You did the hard work. I was like, I can't take that credit, brother.
Well,
You
but you know,
freaking did that. I'm like, it's
but
humble.
but
It's truly humbling. But I'm like, dude, you did
yeah,
that hard work, brother. I was
yeah.
just, I guess, I'm like, I was just the anchor that
But
helped
there is something to be
build
said
that
for the
fire in me.
community, the creative community. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's that's cool that you guys support each other. That's great.
Oh yeah, and if people want digital copies of any of these, they're on my website under the tab called Productions. Um, and let me go back up. So go back up right quick. Sorry. You go to Productions. You can get digital copies on my website over here. The KVC Fate, Arc Fire Issue One. Um, well, Arc Fire Issue Two. This is the physical. I haven't put the digital up there yet, but this is the
Hmm.
physical Arc Fire Issue Two. So you guys should see the cover issue two.
Nice.
And stuff like that. And oh, and speaking of my novel, this is one of my novels, Jacoboni. This is the digital ebook version. You can also get the physical on Amazon and Barnes and Noble and other places.
Very
This is
nice.
my other friend, P.S. Glips. I forget. I don't know. I want to butcher her name, but she go by P.S. She's also a first time author. I published her,
Very
and
nice.
I'll be publishing other books once she sends it to me and she feels confident about it. And I'm not sure you saw the comment from earlier from Carrie when she mentioned like I do jewelry and stuff. I
Hmm.
do because I also have my own merchandise. But since it's the Kevirsyle merchandise, I got some notebooks that you can get. You want to write your own story, and some shirts, jackets, joggers, and everything. So I have stuff right here to show you too. And also I put up some backpacks. So yes, and some socks. I love socks, so I put them up there, and I also have a wireless charger that I also put
Oh,
up there
that's
too.
cool. Yeah.
And I also have my own shoe collection that I created
It
called the.
is really cool. It is really cool when you see someone out and about wearing a shirt with your image on it or your character on
Yeah,
it. And
it's so freaking
um,
humbling, and it's so freaking cool seeing people with my stuff, whoever buys it. And this is some boots I've made, uh, and some sneakers, and yeah, I do a lot of different things.
very
And
nice.
now you see why I guess I get yelled at for not sleeping.
Hmm. Well, it is nice too to diversify
But
too because
yeah,
sometimes you find people like I will meet people that say, I don't really like to read
yeah,
comics or it's not my thing, but I want to support. What else have you got? So
yeah,
that's where like the artwork comes in handy for me. I do
yeah.
bookmarks and whatnot,
Agree,
or I have
agree.
I've done over the years. I've done shot glasses and pint glasses and
Mm.
T-shirts and posters and
Oh yeah, and
you
there's
name it.
some.
I've probably slapped a logo on it at some point. And
uh,
people, it gives them something to, keychains and enamel
mm.
pins, and
Oh yeah, and there's like some
it's something, yeah.
and there's like
Because
some photos. That's my friend Dennis Knight. He writes for my magazine,
hmm
and this is him at New York Comic Con a couple months ago, selling the. This is selling the original version of the magazine before I revamped it. It was
hmm
originally called Kevirsyle International, but I revamped it now. It's the same content, just a different name and everything.
hmm
Um, and this is a teaser of some potential toys and plushies I'm coming at some point down the road.
very
So
nice.
that's a teaser. I do have
Yeah.
plushies, toys coming down the road, and here is some teasers of some new books coming soon from Kevirsyle. My first graphic novel based on my Jacoboni book is called Skin Shifter. That's coming later this year. This Terminus Corvic City is my zombie saga that's coming to some point. I don't know exactly date yet. And I have a new friend who's a new author. I am publishing. Her book is coming soon, as of next month, I believe. If you don't have to delay, it's called The Reaper's Table. And yeah, and some more stories. I have my first anthology called Jollified, which is a holiday horror anthology. I'm doing with some friends as well. Um, and Mad Pops and Halloween actually is my next comic that comes out next month on Kickstarter. So yeah, I do a lot of different things, and that's a teaser of Arcfire issue 3 poster.
Very nice. Yeah, it's good to keep
So
busy.
yeah,
Always keep
and
looking
then
ahead, seeing
these are
what's
some
out there.
podcasts I've been on since I became professional at this. So yeah, that is my website. That is
Yeah.
kevinside.com.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I mean, this is, there are times this could be a very feast or famine job when it comes to
Oh god, yes.
making money, but
Whew.
we do this primarily because we love it.
Oh yeah.
Because
Oh yeah.
I've jokingly said, I've quit better paying jobs, but I love what I do. I get to the not only do I get to like make up stuff all day and tell stories, I have gotten to travel.
Mm,
I've met some of the coolest people as a result of doing this, doing events and whatnot.
heck
People
yeah.
who, I have like some of the closest people in my life are people I
Mm,
met because I was doing this and I met them at an event. And, it's amazing how those connections happen. So those are the bonuses to doing what we do.
mm.
And it's wonderful. It's a cool job. My commute is from my bedroom across the hall into my office.
That's so cool.
I don't have to
Oh
get up
man.
and get in the car. I don't have to get up while it's still dark outside. I'm not a morning person. I know you said you get up.
Um,
I am not
yeah.
a morning person, but I
Oh
can
yeah.
sleep in, but I can work at night, and I'm very much a go to bed at 2, 3, 4 in the morning kind of guy.
Yeah.
So I can do that, and so it all it works in my favor that way. And so, but it's a job I love because
Mm.
telling stories, you have to love it. It's a chore if you don't.
Oh
If you
yeah.
ever
Agreed. Agreed.
when you work on stuff you don't enjoy, it's a chore. So getting to do stuff that we enjoy and we're passionate about, it's wonderful. It's the greatest job in the world. Like I said, I just wish
Yeah.
it paid better.
Right. Well, oh shoot, we're at time now.
Yes, yes. Thank you
Um,
so much for having me. I've had a ball talking with you. This has been
heck
fun.
yeah. Thank you for coming on. But
My pleasure.
before you hop off, please let us know like socials we can follow you on and keep up to date on your projects.
Sure. Yeah. Well, like I said, BobbyNash.com is the website. There's links. There's an events tab there. There's a links tab. But I'm on Facebook and Instagram and Threads and Blue Sky and YouTube and Patreon and whatever we're calling Twitter this week.
So great.
Pinterest. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm on all of those. I do have plans for like a TikTok at some point in the future, but there's only so many hours in the day. So yeah, so I'm on all of those. And like I said, there's a link on BobbyNash.com under the links tab. You can just click and find. I have an
Heck yeah.
Amazon author page and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm Kevin Davis. You can find me here at the Madness at Kevirsyle Network because we're all mad sometimes. You can find me on Instagram at I am Kevin Davis Official, and my business tags are in that bio. So you can also find me on Instagram at Kevirsyle and Kevirsyle Network. YouTube at Kevirsyle, and Facebook at I am Kevin Davis CEO. I have to pull all these in. So it's
Mm. Yeah,
and
not all of
and,
mine are the
and
same either because
yeah.
just
And then I'm also on TikTok at Kevirsyle Studios, I believe. That's the name. But anyway, but when in doubt, you can find everything on kevirsyle.com. So
very
the real
nice.
everything in. But thank you, Bobby Nash, for coming on.
My
This was
pleasure.
awesome. Thank you guys for chiming in. I can speak English. I'm tired and I'm hungry.
Time
But
for a
this,
nap.
yeah. But
She
this
she
has
told
been.
me I had to make sure you nap. So
It's funny. She left this comment, by
yeah, so
the way.
yes,
And
man, I'm
so
on it. Nap.
I'm gonna go nap, Carrie. Don't worry. But this has been Kevirsyle Network with Bobby Nash. We'll see you guys next Friday.
If you miss the live viewing of any Madness Entertainment Group production, you can find all our content on Roku or as a member of this channel. We'll see you next time on the Madness Entertainment Group.